Hello, 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 and welcome to Challenge Day 3. So excited. I'm your host, Sean Q, and I'm ready to get started. Here's a couple of announcements before we get started and jump right in. Number one, use hashtag Q&A or hashtag question in the chat if you have a question. If you don't have a question, but you have an insight instead, go ahead and use hashtag gold nugget. Hashtag gold nugget. So make hashtag question or hashtag gold nugget. Hashtag gold nugget. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm curious to hear a little bit of what your biggest insight was from yesterday's training with Heather. Was that fire or what? Um, I am so stoked about it. So, all right, can you see my screen? Let me know in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, let me go ahead and show my little blazer. Okay, so this was my wife bought this for me for Beyonce. And when we went to go see her live, and it was pretty phenomenal. So thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. All right, let me know what gold nuggets do you have from yesterday? I want to know. So Heather was great. Somebody said, yes, I love it. Somebody, Abby says hashtag be unique. So good. Somebody says hi to Mommy Q. Abby says that too. Addie, she's actually not in the room right now, but I'll let her know you said hi. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. The Heck Yes Sales System, day 3. Welcome to day 3. Yesterday, we talked about creating excited buyers with Smart Social. Day 1, we talked about how to find and attract coaching clients. Listen, we are halfway there, so go ahead and give me a smile. I'm super stoked. We have a couple that we're going to be giving away. We got some book bundles. We got an iPad mini. We got an Amazon gift card. We got a VIP day with me and Heather, who you heard from yesterday, and then Brian, who you're going to hear from tomorrow. If you want to get results even faster this week, only make the most out of this week and get private coaching, extra clarity, customized feedback, plus additional bonuses. Yesterday, I believe we gave away over 100 social media posts. You can literally swipe to create massive engagement and to actually generate interest in what you're doing. So if you're interested, go ahead. Every single afternoon at 10:30 a.m., we're going to hop on Zoom and coach you, answer your questions, make connections, personally help you land. So many people join the Inner Circle. All you have to do is go to clientschallenge.com/inner circle. Go ahead and let us know in the chat if you are part of the Inner Circle. And let me know what your biggest gold nugget was from yesterday. What was your biggest gold nugget from yesterday? I see some pretty incredible comments coming in. Don't ask, you don't get. So good. Gold nugget from Heather. Heather builds tremendous travel retreats. Yes, so good. Abby says, I would love that VIP day. So awesome. Okay, so how many conversations did you have yesterday? What insights did you gain? Let me know in the chat if you have had insights. Let me know right now. Go ahead, put it in the chat. Now, I believe breakthrough is found in your celebrations. So, as we celebrate as a community, as we show up as a tribe, what's really incredible is we want to be able to tap in and support you. So, as you celebrate, success begets success. Catch that. Somebody put that in the chat. Success begets success. Success creates success. So as you celebrate your success, you're going to recognize it as a success and you're going to be able to create more. So maybe you did a live stream. How many of you have done a live stream? Let me know in the chat. How many of you have sent an interview request? Maybe they haven't gotten back to you yet, or maybe they're like, yeah, but next week. Maybe you actually scheduled an interview. You got it on a calendar. Maybe you did an interview. Maybe you scheduled a wow talk, or maybe you even did a wow talk. Let me know in the chat. Here's something that's really cool. The incredible late Kobe Bryant, he actually hired his coach because this coach sent letters to everybody on the Lakers except for Kobe. He was a little bit intimidated by Kobe, so he's like, I'm not even going to send it to him, but I'll send it to everybody else. And nobody ended up hiring him as a coach, but Kobe in the locker room one day saw the flyer and ended up reaching out and they ended up working together. I think it was for like 6-7 years. And it was an incredible story of how when you begin to take action, when you begin to show up, sometimes an indirect connection that happens simply by doing the work, right? Sending the letters, sending the emails, getting connected, asking for those referrals, simply by doing the work. What happens is you're creating opportunities for people to connect with you, creating opportunities for you to walk through. And so it's super key. Now, if you haven't had any conversations yet, let me know in the chat what is holding you back. Maybe it's fear. Maybe you were initially excited and then you got really, really scared. Let me know in the chat. I believe you can't grow what you don't know. So let's see where you're at. Before we do, let me check the chat. So best from day 2, focus on thorough conversations and remembering to ask for referrals. So good. Somebody says hashtag team live. So good. I also didn't get to ask them volunteered information already right away. I love that. I suggest so good. When you begin to take action, it creates a ripple effect to help people connect with you. Yes, so good. Okay, so let me know. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Let me know in the chat. Is it spotty for you? Let me know. We got a lot of team lives. So good. So success creates success. I see somebody says that. Somebody says, I'm always a crazy on live. I'm always on a crazy live stream. So good. I've commented on live streams and posts. So good. Okay. So you can't grow what you don't know. So let's see where you're at. Heck yes or heck no. Number 1, you know exactly how to transition from a wild talk to a sales call, right? You're having a conversation with someone and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to work with them. And you know how to turn it into something where they can actually talk to you about what you do. Let me know in the chat. Number 1, heck yes or heck no. Number 2, you feel confident saying a premium price to a potential client. Do you feel confident you charge $5,000, $10,000? Let me know in the chat. You can tell when you've, number 3, heck yes or heck no. You can tell when you've made the sale, you said the price or talked about your offer. Listen, when I'm in a sales conversation with someone, I know they're going to buy from me when I hear some specific buyers. Okay, these are green flags from buyers that when they are sharing in a conversation, I know they're excited about buying. So let me know, do you know? Number 4, you know how to powerfully position your offer so your potential client is excited about buying. Do you know how to position it so that they get excited about buying? Let me know. Number 4. Number 5, you have an onboarding system in place that nurtures new clients for the first 13 days after they say yes. Let me know in the chat. Do you have an onboarding process? So as soon as they make their payment, is something going out? Do you know how to do, do you have something going out on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5? Let me know in the chat. I see a ton of heck yeses, and I see a heck yet. I love the heck not yet. So good. Because it speaks to possibilities, and it speaks to you leveling up. So good. Okay, today's training, we're going to talk about how to create absolute certainty in the sale. Number 2, we're going to talk about how to transition any conversation into a sales conversation. And then I titled this the 9 tweaks you can make, but we like to over-deliver. Somebody in the chat, go ahead and put hashtag over-deliver. So we're going to actually 1 tweaks to make. 21 biggest mistakes you make in a sales call and what to do instead. Okay. Let's go ahead and play the ready game. So this is essentially whoever says ready first wins. So let me go ahead and let's play the ready game. Whoever says ready first wins. So hashtag over deliver. So good. Somebody says hashtag over deliver. Heck yes. Somebody says get your screen print buttons ready. Yes. Get ready to screenshot. So good. Let's see who your name next to it. Okay. Somebody says ready. And I don't know who said it. But it's this person who said all caps with a exclamation point. So good. So whoever that is, Brian, Heather, our team, we're going to make sure that you are the ready king and ready queen. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. The power of belief and certainty. One of my absolute favorite shows to watch was Bob Ross. And he would paint these pretty trees and these happy mistakes. And, something would become a bush when it was meant to be something else. And that's okay because we all make happy mistakes. And I absolutely loved his frame of mind when he was talking about making a mistake, doing something and putting yourself out there and then kind of having it not work out. And he would always call it a happy mistake. Listen, you're going to go into action this week. You're taking action this week. You're hopping on sales calls. And guess what? You're going to make mistakes. We make mistakes all the time. We are making mistakes in our team. I am personally making them every single day, but they're happy mistakes. Hey, I get to learn from this. These are not losses; they're lessons. Somebody catch that. That was a gold nugget for somebody. They are not losses; they are lessons that allow us to level up and move us forward. They're not losses; they're level up. Good. That was good. Okay. Bob Ross said the secret to doing anything is believing that you can do it. Anything that you believe you can do strong enough, you can do anything as long as you believe. So my question to you, let me know in the chat, #HeckYes. Do you believe people are better off buying what you're selling and buying it from you than if they did nothing at all? Somebody say yes. Do you believe that your clients will win in life, business, health, whichever area you work on, if they buy from you today? Somebody give me a yes in the chat. You have an obligation. If you said yes, you have an obligation to go out and share the good news possible when people say yes to working with you. Here's the truth. Buyers don't care at all whether or not you close the deal. Right? They don't care if you make money today. They don't care if you land a client today. Buyers don't care. And it's not that they're jerks, right? Maybe you're like, oh, that's kind of hurtful. It's not that they're jerks. They just don't have the time. They don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the energy. They're too busy trying to fix their problems or achieve their goals. Somebody say yes. If you focus on transformation, service, and human relationships, even when you're selling, you will win every time. I'm gonna hold this slide for a minute. If you focus on transformation and improvement, focus on service, focus on building genuine relationships, even when you're talking about money, you will win every time. So let's talk about why you might hate sales, right? There are two different types of sales processes. There's the money and then there's the heart. On the left side, you're seeing the money side. When you're focused just on what's in their wallet, when you're focused on just whether or not they're going to be able to give you money, it becomes manipulative. It becomes pushy and aggressive. It becomes sleazy. It feels sleazy. You know it. It becomes product centric. So you're focusing on just selling your product or your coaching or your program. There's random contacting that happens, right? Like you're just sending spam DMs and you're focused on the sale at all costs. How many of you want to have a money first mindset when it comes to selling? Somebody say heck no, right? I've been here where I've been sold and then I feel like I've been used at the end of it. What I want is somebody who has heart. I want a heart-centered sales process. Somebody who's honest about whether or not they can help me. Somebody who is permission-based, who's asking consent before they sell. Somebody who feels excited about working with me, and I feel excited about working with them. Buyer-centric. They're not focused on just selling their program. They're literally focused on me and what's best for me. They're putting the relationship first. And they're focused on me making the best decision. They're focused on you making the best decision, right? When you are heart-centered, you're focused on the client making the best decision for them. And sometimes that's working with you. And here's the truth. Sometimes it's not. When you're creating a safe space for people to make a confident purchasing decision, what you're doing is you're saying, I want to help you make the best decision for you. So let me come along and support you. So somebody put heart-centered. How many of you want to be heart-centered in the chat? Let me know. Listen, here's the good news though. The old way of selling no longer works, and thank goodness. Right? People are actually catching on to all of these different sales tricks and hacks. Now, what we want to do is we want to take the old way, we want to tweak it so that it's actually heart-centered, because some of the things that work in the old way, the processes might be okay, but the intention and the heart and the attitude behind it and the direction of it might not. So what we want to do is we want to tweak it so that it's heart-centered. Here's the truth. Everyone loves to buy. You put me in an Apple store, I want to buy everything. You put me in a Star Wars store, I want to buy everything. But everyone hates to be sold to, right? Nobody likes to be sold to. Imagine if sales became something you were excited about. You woke up every morning asking, who could I help today? Notice I didn't say sell today. Who can I help today? How would your life and business change if every single day you helped, let's say, 5 people move closer and closer to their dream? You helped 5 people. And then on the other end of that, you simply made an offer. Can I continue to help you? The sales training I'm about to share with you, all the tweaks, all the things that we're about to share with you, is what I have personally found to work for me after studying the greats. We already talked about a lot of these folks. We've read all the books. I've personally watched and provided expert review of hundreds of sales calls. What worked, what didn't. So as we go through the 21 biggest mistakes and what to do instead, here's what I want you to make a decision to do. I want you to lean in. I want you to make a decision right now and say, you know what? I'm going to learn from these mistakes and I'm going to shift the way I show up. I don't want to help you sell if what you're doing is sleazing people. If you're being a jerk. We talked about this on day 1. Right? Don't be a jerk. Instead, I want you to be heart-centered. So if you're ready and able and you are willing to be heart-centered, let me know in the chat. Use hashtag heart-centered. 21 biggest mistakes. What to do instead. This has taken us years to learn. I want to fast track it so you don't take years to learn these. We have spent tens of thousands of dollars learning these things. I want you to be able to fast track that without having to spend tens of thousands of dollars. Is that okay? Let me know in the chat. Let's jump in. I don't got a lot of time, so I got to rush. Okay, the purpose of a sales conversation is to turn clarity into commitment. Somebody put that in the chat. Clarity into commitment. The purpose of a sales conversation is to turn clarity, which is what happens in your wow talk. You're creating a lot of clarity. You're not providing strategy. You're providing clarity in that wow talk by asking powerful questions. We learned that yesterday. And then that clarity, that insight, we want it to be commitment. Are you committed financially? Are you invested emotionally? Are you willing to spend your time and your energy and your money to making that insight a reality for you? Maybe your client now knows, oh man, I really need to have consistency with my diet. Or if you're a health coach, or maybe for you, it's you're a social media manager and oh man, I really know now I have the clarity. I need to show up on social more frequently. Now it's a matter of turning that clarity into commitment. So the 21 mistakes you're about to discover are the most dangerous mistakes I've seen. In other words, you are losing money if you're making these mistakes, yet they're the most common. Simply by going through today's training, you're going to be putting yourself ahead by 10,000 steps. Somebody put hashtag, yes, 10,000 steps ahead. Now here's the truth. People pay me $2,500 at minimum for a 60-minute review of one of their sales calls. So what I'm about to share with you is powerful stuff. Are you ready? Number 1. Winging it. Totally winging it. If you have not practiced your sales conversations with maybe your spouse, your partner, a friend online, if you haven't practiced on Zoom, if you haven't practiced the process will be messy. You'll feel anxious, overwhelmed, and insecure, and so will your lead. You won't come across as a professional or prepared. And even worse, your potential client won't feel confident in your ability to help them. Now, here's the good news. You don't need a script. You'll actually sound robotic if you have a script. How many of you love scripts? I like scripts to give me an idea of how the conversation should go. But then typically I take the script and just turn it into an outline so I know the direction. So I can feel a little bit more natural. So you don't need a script. Simply outline the questions you're going to ask and the direction you're going to take. And here's the truth. Maybe you're like, well, I'm just intuitive. And that's awesome. I love intuitive coaches. Structure creates space for improvement. So give yourself a little bit of structure in the sales process, and you'll be able to create space for improvement. Mistake number 2. Having a bad transition. So mistake number 1 was winging it. We're going to give you a process, and that process starts with transitioning. So if you have a bad transition, it sounds like this. Should I tell you about my program now? Or, so here's what I'm offering right now. Or, let me tell you about my programs and my packages. Right? None of this works as powerfully as the line I'm about to give you. I want you to say this out loud. Somebody put this in the chat so you can actually read it. It can like type it out. Even like just everyone type this out so you can like burn it in your brain. Say this. Anytime you're in a you're in a conversation, you want to turn it into a sales conversation, you're going to say, would you like to hear what it would look like if you and I work together on this? Here's why this works. Would you like to hear, not would you like to buy? We're not asking them to buy yet. We're simply asking if they want more information. Would you like to hear what it would look like if gives them, hear my voice quiver? If means you could say yes and you could say no. It gives them space to leave. Would you like to hear what it would look like if you and I work together on this? You're no longer alone. You're no longer alone in the challenge that you shared. Would you like to hear what it would look like if you and I work together on this? They're going to say, heck yes. Yeah, sure. Tell me what you got to offer. And here's the worst thing you could do. Rush into the offer. Talk about the ask. Well, the name of the program is this, and it costs this much, and it's 6 weeks, and we'll do one-on-one sessions, but I could do more if you need it, and I can work with your budget. And you just start talking about things that they don't care about. Instead, I want you to slow down the conversation, right? Instead of looking like this, I want you to slow the conversation down and open possibilities. This is step 1. Somebody put open possibilities in the chat. Here's 3 questions you could potentially ask. So you say, would you like to hear what it would look like if you and I work together on this? They say, yeah. What do you have to offer? Great. Well, let's say we find a way to work together. What's possible after 3 months? Like, what do you actually want to achieve in 3 months? Or what's possible if you and I hit your goals faster than you expected? Or imagine life 6 months from now when this is no longer an issue. What's life like then? What could you focus on then? Notice they're going to start responding, well, this is what I actually want. You want them to paint a vision. Because the truth is, if we go back to day 1, where we talked about their pain and their goal, right? They care about the goal. So what I want to do is I want to understand, and I want them to paint the picture for me. What's possible if we work together? If we find a win-win here? And now I know the direction of the sales conversation to go. Because maybe I'm selling social, but they say, you know what? I really want to start getting visible on stages. Awesome. I'm going to sell social media management, painted in the way that it's going to help them get on stages, right? Because we know what the next thing they want to do. What you're really selling is not the thing for today. You're selling the next thing. That's actually a breakthrough for someone. You're not selling what they're getting today. You're selling the next thing they can focus on. Mistake number 4, auditioning. Solo auditioning. So what I mean by this is when you audition for your client, you actually give up your leadership. You're like, okay, hopefully they're going to like see me and they're going to be so impressed. They're going to buy from me. And oftentimes this stems from an employee mindset where you're interviewing for the job. How many of you have gone on interviews? I've gone on interviews and they were horrible. You got into this business to enjoy your work, have more fun, live life on your terms. Don't train your clients to become your boss. I wish I bolded that. Don't train your clients to become your boss. Otherwise, you lose leadership. You're the professional. You're here to support them. You're here to help them move forward. They're the client. So instead, audition the client, right? Just like they're trying to see if you're a good fit for them, you should be figuring out if they're a good fit for you as a client. So my very next question is to ask them, why would you be a good fit for me? And why do you think I would be a good fit for you? If I choose to work with you, you must dot, dot, dot. Remember you must statements from day one? Does that sound like you? And tell me more about why this would be a good fit. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to start sharing and essentially selling themselves on why it's a good fit for you too. I want to know, do you think we're a good fit? Why do you think we're a good fit? Tell me more. Mistake number 5, oftentimes what's going to happen as they're telling you why you might be a good fit for them or why they might be a good fit for you is they'll say identity statements. And the worst thing you can do is ignore these. Now, identity statements are the deepest form of communicating who people believe they are. Catch that. Identity statements is the deepest form of how people communicate who they are. So I'll give you a couple of examples. When you give anyone enough time and they will literally tell you exactly what they think of themselves. For example, I'm one of those terrible moms that buys McDonald's for my kids all the time. Or, yeah, I'm not really a salesperson, but I know I need sales. Right? They're literally telling you how they view themselves. Now, what most people want to do is jump in and dismiss it. They'll say, oh, no, you're not a terrible mom, or no, you are a good salesperson. And it totally dismisses the identity they just shared. So instead of saying you're not a terrible mom, or no, you're not you are a salesperson, I want you to ask a question. And I want you to ask something like this. I know you were joking when you said you were a terrible mom. Can you tell me more about where that's coming from, though? Do you see the energy shift of how it's like, oh, I didn't realize I said that. Or, oh, wow. I was just joking, but maybe there is something deeper there. And then I like to say a statement here. What would it look like if we shifted this for you? And you actually became a super salesperson or a super mom, or just an aligned mom or a comfortable mom. What would that look like for you? Because if you can shift their identity, their behavior is going to follow. And so you want to be listening for these identity statements. And sometimes these identity statements will tell you if they're a good fit for you or not. Sometimes these identity statements will tell you what you really need to work on and whether or not there's going to be struggle. Mistake number 6, not identifying their most urgent needs. So once I've asked them, why do you think we're going to be a good fit? And we've explored their identity statements. Then I share what's called my 5-finger process. Because I point 5 fingers up and I point at each one. I'll show you that. Because this is how you identify their most urgent need. Most people overshare about their offer. They talk so much about what they're selling. The truth is, the client or the buyer doesn't need to know everything yet. They only care about what's most important to them. So how do you find that out? You ask. So this is what I do. The 5-word or 5-finger process. I say, okay, grab a pen and paper, and I want you to write these 5 words down. And these are things that we work on with our clients. So I'll share abundance, visibility, sales, systems, and scalability. Let me tell you what this means. Abundance means being open to success, making sure your subconscious is primed to make money, to generate revenue, to land clients, to get visible, etc. So making sure you're primed for abundance. Visibility, this means you showing up every day, naturally, authentically aligned. Sales, this means you making the ask, you making invitations. Systems, this is making it super easy for you. And scalability, this is making sure you can actually grow without killing your energy. Just these 5. Which one do you need the most help with today? Which one do you need the most help with today? And then what I do is I have them circle the one they share. Maybe they'll share, 5, I need all of it. Or maybe they share, I really need help getting visible. Okay, circle that one. And tell me why that one. Why do you need help with that today? And they're going to share why. And then I'm going to be able to share, awesome. On day 1, we'll get started with visibility. In our very first call, that's what we're going to focus on, because I want to help them with their most urgent need. Mistake number 7, overpromising. I see this literally all the time, and it creates overwhelm. Okay. Have you ever heard statements like, I'm going to help you make $1 million in 7 days, or, you're going to scale to 6 figures in 4 weeks? And it's like, we've all heard of those phrases, and we're all giving this like kind of eye roll of, okay. So what I do is instead, I slow that down a little bit. And I say, great, we're going to work on visibility. Now, here's the truth. This will require a little sweat equity. I call this the sweaty question. Somebody put hashtag sweaty question. This will require a little sweat equity. We are going to make it fun and easy for you, and you still have to do the work. This means showing up on time for our calls and doing the homework. Do you have the time and energy to prioritize this right now? Do you have the time and energy to prioritize this right now? Notice how I'm putting the onus or the effort on them to do the work. Now, I do want to celebrate someone. Somebody just said, let me know who this is in the chat. I used the coaching questions I shared yesterday in day 2's training last night on a call. Oh my gosh, so exciting. I asked a lot of questions, didn't talk much about my program. Guess what? Landed a $5,500 client. Guys, it works. That's awesome. I love that. Congratulations. Let's go ahead and celebrate that person in the chat. So you want to make sure you're asking the sweaty question. Mistake number 8, skipping past concerns or objections. Okay, professionals don't hope and wish, especially when it comes to hearing objections or concerns. They handle with care. Somebody put that in the chat. Handle with care. Handle with care. They eagerly look forward to answering any questions a potential client has. Have you ever gone to the doctors and they don't ask many questions about what you're feeling? Maybe you're sick or maybe you're hurt, and you're like, you don't really feel safe, right? Maybe it's just a new doctor. They don't know how to ask the questions. They don't have what's called bedside manners. When somebody has an objection or a concern that they're sharing with you, this is where bedside manners essentially come in. Say, hey, I'm going to handle this with care. I'm not going to rush through this. I'm going to actually help you explore this with you. Now, here's the answer. Be here tomorrow, because Brian's actually going to cover 2 strategies on how to have strong bedside manners and how to be able to handle with care every objection you hear. Okay, mistake number 9. So I'm going to leave that cliffhanger for you. Oh my gosh, we're only on mistake number 9 and I got like 20 minutes left. Okay, mistake number 9, making your ask or your offer really complicated. I can't tell you how many times I've been in sales calls and they just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Somebody go put in the chat, and on and on and on and on. Right? They'll say things like this. Here are the million things that are included. You get this and this and this, and I'll even throw this in, and as a bonus you get this, and then we'll do also this, and then 2 weeks later you'll get this, and then the 3rd month you'll get that, and we'll also do this and we'll do that, and it's just so much. And they just talk on and on and on. And then what happens is you kind of like eye glaze over like, okay. Here's what you do instead. You simply share the 5-point proposal. 5 points, that's all you share. So what I do is I say, great. What sounds like I might be able to help you, is this a good time for me to share how I can do that? Awesome. Write this down. Here's the name of the program, Clients with Purpose. Here's the framework. Here's the dream client. Here's who's perfect for this program. Here's the problem we solve. And here's the results that we work towards. So here's an example. Clients with Purpose. The name is a 90-day, the time frame, sales boot camp, the framework for the coach, right? This is for coaches. Who's the perfect person? Coaches who have a hard time generating and converting leads online. That's the problem we're going to solve. Now, this is perfect for you. Right, here's the results. If you're ready to price, package, and position your offer with authority, create social influence with your audience, and have a low-effort sales system that nurtures your leads into clients. What part of this sounds like what you need today? That's it. Notice it's so simple. What's the name? How long is it? What's the format? Who's it for? What's the problem? And what's the result? That's it. And they're going to say, actually, I need the social influence, or I really need to build, package, price, position the offer. Or they're going to tell you what they actually want to buy. Now, mistake number 10, and this is huge, is ignoring body language. What people say and what people show are often misaligned. They might say they're excited, but their body language says otherwise. Here's why. The body has a much harder time lying than the brain does. So when I'm sharing this and I'm asking what part of today, are you most excited about? And they say, oh, the social influence. But I see they're kind of shifting a little bit, or like their face tweaks a little bit or shifts or pivots. Then I'll kind of call that out and I'll say, hey, I noticed your eyes lit up here when I mentioned social influence. Tell me about that, right? Maybe they were really excited, and I'll call out the body language. I noticed your eyes light up when I mentioned social influence. Tell me more about that. Or I noticed you kind of went tense when I shared about sales practices, or when I shared about, X, Y, and Z. Tell me more about that. What's going to happen is you're going to help them regulate their body so they can be safe in making a confident decision. You don't want them to rush into a decision. Otherwise, their commitment isn't high. Catch that. A rushed decision oftentimes is a low commitment. Slowing the process down and really creating safety creates confidence. Mistake number 11, ignoring your own money baggage. At this point, we haven't even talked about pricing. We haven't talked about how much it's going to cost them. We haven't talked about anything. At this point, most people get really sweaty themselves. And here's why. When you go into the money conversation, you're ignoring your own money baggage. Now, this is something we cover in depth with our clients because it truly is a make it or break it issue. How many of you who are listening right now have been clients of ours? Maybe you've done other trainings of ours or anything like that, where you've recognized this was the make it or break it issue for you, right? So many of us have different money stories. Money is evil, right? These are all things that I personally heard growing up, by the way. Money is evil. Money changes you. Money makes you do unethical or even illegal things, right? Rich people got rich by doing illegal stuff. Money creates problems. Money makes those around you change, right? People will treat you differently when they know you have money. I'm not good with money. Rich people are greedy. I'm not old enough to make money. I'm not young enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not cunning enough. Don't talk about money. I was told that all the time. Or asking about or for money is rude and desperate, so don't ask about it. Right? All these things we hear and we carry with us. And then we go ask for money, and it's like, why is there so much resistance? And it's because we're carrying this load of crap, if I can say that, this load of crappy messaging and belief system with us, and then we're trying to ask for money, and it doesn't work. People almost always return to the limits of their beliefs. Somebody put this in the chat. When I see someone struggling with something over and over and over again, it's a belief issue. It's what do they believe about themselves or about this topic? People almost always return to the limits of their beliefs. So our job when we work with our clients is to expand the limitations of your beliefs, is to expand the ceilings that you have so that you can go higher, you can go further, you can go faster. Here are a couple of things that you can do right now to spark abundance. Number one, start saying high numbers to yourself. Whisper it if you have to. I want everyone to say this right now. Just whisper it. It's just a number. It's just funny. Even if you don't charge this, just say it. I charge $25,000. I charge $25,000. And here's what's interesting. What's going to happen is you're going to feel really excited about it and you're going to lean in, or it's going to reveal some resistance. Maybe you have a hard time just saying it. Maybe you have a hard time even whispering that number. That's a good thing because it's identifying what you need to work on. It's identifying the knot in your money story that you need to massage. I want you to write down your price 50 times. Get comfortable with how much you charge. Just write it down over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So it becomes just a number. Ask your clients to write down the price. So when you share, awesome, it's going to be this. This is the level of this is the level of investment. Write this number down. They start writing the number down and they're looking at the paper. They're not looking at you. So it kind of eases the anxiety you might feel when you're talking about money. And then here's what I want you to do. This is a really key exercise that's going to be really helpful. I want you to find a sacred spot for you. Maybe for you, it's like a prayer closet, or it's a park where you get inside, or, it's on your walk, or like just find something that's a spot, a safe spot that's sacred to you. And I want you to tap in and ask yourself, what did I hear or see growing up anytime money was discussed? Maybe you saw parents arguing about money. And so you saw and associated money and tension, money and anger. Maybe every single time you asked about money, the answer was, no, we don't have it. And so money and the word no became equal for you. Find that sacred spot and tune in and ask yourself, what did I hear or see growing up anytime money was discussed? And write it down and process it. Now, if you join the inner circle, we'll process this with you. Mistake number 12. Oh my gosh, I got to go fast. I got like 10 more. Okay, let me know in the chat. Is this helpful? Has this been super helpful or what? So far, like we could stop here and it was just so good. We got like 10 more, but let me know in the chat. Has this been good or what? Okay, number 12, sharing your price as a question. Oh my gosh, I've seen and heard this a lot. So when somebody says, I charge $500, but I can work with your budget, right? Like it's a question. Like I charge $500. Instead of it, listen, if it's a question for you, it's going to be a question for them. They're going to be like, if you have a hard time saying it, I'm going to be a hard time paying it. And that's so key. Somebody put that in the chat. If you have a hard time saying it, they will have a hard time paying it. So if you're asking it like a question, they will start questioning whether or not they should pay it. So here's what I say. You know what? That's the best part. I want you to write this down. For everything we've discussed today, the investment is a single payment of $99.97. How does that sound? And then be quiet. And if they're like, oh, it's too much, or they start bringing up objections, we'll cover that tomorrow. But here's where you can say, okay, well, we have payment plans, or we have a way to finance this. Right? You have options there. Mistake number 13 is not making an official ask or offer. So instead of actually saying your price, what you'll do is you'll say, oh, okay, I'll send you a proposal after this call then. That's what I did. I was so scared to say the number that I said, okay, well, I'll send you the proposal. And I never sent them the proposal because I was so scared. Or I'll send you an email with all the details. Or I'll get back to you with all the details next week. Okay. Instead, you have what you're willing to ask for. So this is the question that I ask. Are you ready to say heck yes today? Okay. You have all the information. Are you ready to say heck yes today? Mistake number 14 is not collecting payment on the call. So if they're like, yes, I'm ready. Awesome. I'm so excited. Now here's the truth. It's not real until you've collected payment. So awesome. I'm so happy to hear you're a heck yes. Let's get you started. Somebody put that in the chat. Let's get you started. Which option works best for you? The pay in full or the payment plan? Great. Pay in full. Let's go ahead and take your payment right now. Which card works best for you, right? Walk them through the process of actually making the payment. Mistake number 15, not having an onboarding process. So as soon as they make the payment is the most insecure point in the sale. The most insecure point in the sale is after you've collected payment. So they've been sold. They make the payment and then it's like, did I make the right decision? This is where buyer's remorse. How many of you have heard of buyer's remorse? Where buyer's remorse comes in. Great, your payment went through. I'll get back to you about it when we start. I'll get back to you about when we start, or I'll send you an email with some information, right? That's just like leaving them like, okay, when are you going to get back to me? Or when's that email coming? And then they become really nervous and then essentially ask for a refund, right? Buyer's remorse leads to refunds. Instead, what we've done is we've created what's called a buyer's boost. This is when they have a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy in this transaction, right? They have excitement. They're like, okay, I'm doing this. I made the payment. So leverage that into quick action items. So what I do is while I'm in the conversation, I say, great, here's the client form. That's your first thing to do. Fill that out. Next, I'm going to send you a welcome email. I just sent it to you. Did you get it? Great. When you get a chance, read through that email. Finally, let's set up your first call right now, not on the calendar. I'm going to actually change this right now. On the calendar. Set up their first call on the calendar. Great. You got the email. Read that when we hop off. Now here, let's go ahead and open up your calendar. Let's book our very first call. Awesome. And so we're actually getting them set up right then and there. A couple of honorable mentions, just because we don't have the time, is not having a visual aid. And so, actually, before we go into that, let me just do this. The very last thing I typically ask is I always end in possibilities. And I didn't put this in the slides, but I want to give this to you just for free. End in possibilities. So essentially, hey, this is awesome. You're all set up. What are you feeling right now? What's possible now that you've made this decision? You always want to end in possibility so that it leaves them on a high. So possibility, not affordability, where they're thinking about money, but they're thinking about the possibilities. Okay, so mistake number 16, not having a visual aid. This could be like a sales page. This could be as easily as like a paper and you're drawing things. If you don't have a visual aid, simply having them write things down is super key. We actually have 4 different strategies we teach our clients when it comes to visual aids that work really, really, really well. But even just having them write down things, that could be a visual aid. Mistake number 17, talking too much, right? If you should be talking about 20% of the time. The client should be talking 80% of the time. So that's why I'm asking all these questions, because I want to have them answer and share and talk. So if you find yourself talking too much, what I actually do is I have a little note that says, only talk for 30 seconds, right? Only talk for 30 seconds. Great. Mistake number 18, talking too fast. Now, I was talking really fast in this training because I'm like running out of time and I want to make sure I get through everything. And when I'm in a sales conversation, I slow down. I'm really attentive. I'm listening, intuitively listening, physically listening to their body language. I'm taking a beat, a moment before I share. I'm actually not looking to respond. I'm looking at what they're saying, how they're reacting, the words they choose to use. Notice the energy shift here. Simply slowing down creates safety. Mistake number 19, slowing down also removes filler words like like. How many of you have a filler word? Mine has been like or. Some people even have filler phrases. They might say, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Me and my wife were watching this reality TV show, and the person getting interviewed was saying that over and over and over. And I was like, yes, I wanted to just say, yes, we get it. We know what you mean. Slowing down removes those filler words. Mistake number 20, poor or no follow-up. If they say yes, but not yet, or no, not right now, great. That doesn't mean I stop talking to them forever. It means they go on a list, and I'm going to reach out in about 6 weeks, 4 weeks, and say, hey, about a month ago, you were interested in this. Is this something that's still a priority for you? Is this the right time? When's the best time for me to reach out? When will you be ready to do this? In between the time, I'm sending them resources and saying, hey, I know you weren't ready to take action. Here's a free article that I was reading that reminded me of what you shared. Here's a blog I listened to, or a podcast I listened to, or a blog I read, or a YouTube video that reminded me of our conversation. Hope this helps, right? I'm consistently talking to the people that I want to work with, even if they are a no right now. Okay, mistake number 21, the last one, is not asking more questions. The best salespeople ask 4 times the questions. 4 times the questions. Somebody put that in the chat. When you feel uncomfortable with the questions that you're asking, like maybe I'm asking too much, ask more at that point, right? Ask 4 times the questions. So the Heck Yes Sales Method, visually described, open possibilities, share your framework, right? Here's the 5 things we work on. Share your non-negotiables. Why would we be a good fit? If we're a good fit, then you must be X, Y, and Z. Talk about the sweaty question, right? You got to put sweat equity into this, time, effort, etc. Explore objections, questions, concerns. Share your platinum offer outline, and then make the big offer in the ask. Go ahead and take a quick screenshot of this. I'm going to take some water, and then I'll be right back in like 3 seconds. All right. Now here's the good news. I finished on time. It's a miracle on its own. And then number 2 is the day 3 workbook is going to be emailed to you for free. If you haven't registered yet, go to clientschallenge.com. You can also go to clientschallenge.com/day3, and you'll be able to get the workbook absolutely free. Now, we don't have a script in there, but we do have the outline. Because again, I don't want you to feel robotic. I want you to make it feel natural to you. Now, if you want to get results even faster this week only, make the most out of this week and get private coaching, extra clarity, customized feedback, plus additional resources by joining the Inner Circle. Every afternoon this week at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, Brian is going to hop on Zoom and coach you, answer your questions, make connections, personally help you land a client, do everything we can to support you in that work. Now, the Inner Circle, we are all focused on helping you get in the right conversations, overcoming fear, getting into potential buyers, going through your sales process, talking about your money mindset. That's what he's really focusing on today. All you have to do is go to clientschallenge.com/inner circle. Several of you have joined. Go to clientschallenge.com/inner circle. Here's your action plan. Interview 1 more person by tomorrow. At most, this will take 1 hour. Use the referral script that we talked about yesterday. Offer someone a free wow talk, then turn it into a sales conversation. Go live and share your answer to these 2 questions. Number 1, what's one mistake you've been making that you're committed to fixing moving forward with your sales? And what was your biggest breakthrough today? Then make sure you grab your spot in the Inner Circle. Prizes and giveaways. We are giving away a ton of prizes on Friday. But we got to give away a $25 Amazon gift card today. So I am going to go ahead and ask Heather. I'm going to pop her up and have her choose someone who has been live with us, commenting, showing up.
Oh, gosh.
Heather,
Okay.
who
I need to
is
hop on.
the grand winner? I'm going to read some comments. Somebody says, hydrate and let it all sink in. Thank you. I'm actually going to take another drink of this water. There's a great question that came in. If we join today, do we have access to the last 2 days? So all the replays are going to be made available after the challenge, but we will help you today in supporting that. So in supporting that work. Heather, who is our lucky winner for the $25 Amazon gift card? Drum roll, please. And by the way, Heather, you are muted. Inner Circle is at 10:30 p.m.
I
Sorry,
just
10:30
went through
a.m.
scroll.
not
We got
p.m.
Catalina Park.
10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So that's in about 30 minutes with Brian. So Heather, who is the grand prize winner for the $25 Amazon gift card?
I rolled in there, scrolled, picked. We got Catalina Park. So congratulations.
Catalina Park. So exciting. Wishes to you. Congratulations on your win. Thank you so much, Heather. So $25 Amazon gift card. How do you actually claim it? Well, you got to claim your prize by emailing support@Abundance Worldwide in the next 72 hours. If you don't, 73 hours pass. We're going to say, too bad, so sad. We told you, email us. So you got to email us, support@abundanceworldwide.com within the next 72 hours. All these prizes are going to be given away on Friday. So if you've claimed your prize, you haven't received it yet, that's okay, because we're giving them away on Friday. You just want to make sure you can claim it by Friday. The rest of this week, we got day 4, which is tomorrow, the secret psychology behind leadership and influence, how to create safety, how to overcome objections. This is going to be really great with Brian Buck. Day 5, we're going to be talking about the 7 Figures Coaches model. I'm going to be sharing how I've built my company. And then every single day, you're going to get cheat sheets, scripts, and templates. Huge thank you to the team behind the scenes, making it all happen in front of the cameras. So I'm the CEO of Abundance Worldwide. We got Dan behind the scenes, COO. We got Heather, who is our Chief Experience Curator, our CEC. And we got Brian, our Chief Abundance Officer. We've made several references in this challenge to these books, podcasts, videos, etc. The Heck Yes Sales System was today. Let's jump in to some Q&A. So let me turn this off. I'm going to bring in Brian and Heather. Good to see y'all. How are you?
Doing great.
So good. Okay, so if you have a question, go to put hashtag question in the chat. We have about 10 minutes to answer any questions. I'm curious for you, Brian and Heather. I asked this on day 1. You both have taken the challenge before. You've leveraged this process. Can you share with us what was your biggest gold nugget from just this day in the past today that you've actually implemented? How has it helped you moving forward?
I'm going to just jump in. I think the number one is have a plan before you talk to a client. Like, I actually know what my offer is before someone tells me they're interested, because I found the opposite when I was mumbling and fumbling. It didn't feel right. Even if I made a sale, I just didn't feel good. But when I had it in mind, it's almost like, I think about those martial art movies where they go like this. It's like, I'm ready. Like, bring it. I've got it.
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Heather.
Yeah, I think for me, one of them is just being confident in the pricing and pausing, right? Because if when I get that diary of the mouth, like, okay, so like you were saying, well, it's $5,000. Well, and so we could do that. Does that work for you? But if not, we could do, and all of a sudden it's like, no, just stop. I was killing the sales. So instead, awesome. So it's $5,000 for this 12-week coaching program. We could start next week. How's that sound? And
So
then
good.
just duct tape my mouth. And the other thing
I love it.
is the follow-up, is following up. If someone's like, well, I'm not sure. I don't know about this. I need to talk to my spouse. Absolutely. Totally get that. Let's go ahead and get a time on the calendar tomorrow to go ahead and follow back up. Because before I was dropping those and I was missing out on those opportunities. Having it scheduled landed me a new client this morning.
So good. So good. So you kind of just dropped this like big bomb of a bombshell. You landed a $5,500 client today. Can you walk us through what made that process so easy for you? And like, how did it all happen? Give us some insight.
Yeah. One, getting visible is how I got that inquiry, because it was someone that heard me on a podcast that I was on several months ago. That's how it led me to that sales call. So that in itself was super awesome. So when we say get out there, get visible, and you can do it organically, that's exactly what I did. I followed what Sean teaches and what we're all teaching now. So it's super cool. And last night, honestly, it's just, I was already in practice mode. I was in practice mode because I was teaching it yesterday. So the more conversations you can get in, the better, because all of a sudden it was what questions I'm going through. I'm having her ponder. She sold herself. I didn't tell anything about the course. She was saying, no, I really think this is why it'd be good to work with you. I like our approach. I like this. You're asking the right questions. It's asking the questions. So I was practicing what I was preaching. I made the call. She needed to talk to her spouse. I asked for the follow-up and we met, and she's all on board. So
that's amazing. And here's what's really incredible. And Brian, then I'll call on you, is with the spousal objection. I know, Brian, you're going to cover that a little bit more tomorrow. I want them to talk to their partner. If their partner's not fully committed as much as they are, there's going to be a lot of tension personally that maybe we don't ever touch on in our coaching, but that's going to be happening in the background. There's going to be a lot of pressure there. So we actually help our clients by preparing them for that conversation. I had someone say to me once, like I have to go speak to my partner, but I'm really nervous because they've never been really supportive. And I asked them, do they know they've never been supportive? Have you shared with them how you're feeling? And she said no. And I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. I take the program and kind of toss it to the side for now. Take this whole offer, and I just want you to actually have a conversation with your partner tonight and simply say, hey, can I share something I've been feeling? I'm really working on this goal and I have this vision of myself. And I believe so deeply in myself. This is the work I'm called to do. And every time I've shared it with you, I have felt not supported. I felt like you just kind of poo-poo on it essentially. And the partner broke down. The partner was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that I was making fun of your dream, that I wasn't even supporting your dream." And they had a moment. I don't even remember if they ended up buying the program afterwards, but noticing and like hearing those things, like if I can help them become more aligned, then they end up working, whether it's with me or someone else, they work towards their goal. And remember, a heart-centered approach is making the best decision for them. Brian, thoughts?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to add a couple of things to what Heather said. One, it's something you've taught before, and it's really a theme of all that we do. When she talked about the person sold themselves, and we aren't selling anything, we're actually helping them buy. And I just think that shift is completely different when you're helping them select what makes sense for them. And then the other thing that Heather talked about is how this is practiced and normal for her. And I just want to encourage everyone, if you aren't having sales conversations or helping people buy conversations, it only might feel different at first, but the more you do it, then we just show up this way and it becomes natural and you flow. It doesn't even feel awkward. And oftentimes, especially when you have people who are really connected to you and you understand their problem and you can help them, it will be awkward if you didn't invite them. You're like, you got me all excited about this, and then you said peace out. No, and so just recognize with practice and being consistently doing it is going to make it always easier.
So good. So good. So Catalina, I think, asked this question, which is how do you build the value of the price in your mind? So let's say you're charging for coaching and it's $5,000. How do you make that normal? How do you normalize that number for yourself and kind of add the value in the price? Here's the biggest mistake I see is a lot of people add things to the offer of like, okay, let me add all these bonuses. Let me add all the extra times. And like, well, if it's 5,000, then I have to meet with them a million times for that to like be of value. How do you kind of build the value in your mind? Brian, I'll go with you first.
Yeah, for me, I'm always thinking 5 to 10 years out. So, and I think about if we're helping someone with sales, like let's say I've got a program that says I could be able to help you make $10,000 in 90 days. I have to also really understand that they now have the skills, capability, and capacity to do that. That means $40,000 in a year. Over 10 years, that's $400,000. So when you start to see it's not just the time you spend, but the future value. So one of the things that really has inspired me in my coaching business, I learned this from someone else that I also got to share in our Abundance Worldwide community, is think about coaching and consulting like a vacation. I love to ask people, what's the best vacation you've ever taken? They'll say, we went to this place. And I said, what made it so great? Oh, we've got the memories. We've got this. It was something new, experienced something new. It was fun. It was relaxing. I learned more about myself. And he says, how much did you spend? And they're like $7,000, $10,000, $5,000. I say, coaching and consulting is just like that. It's priced similarly because what we're going to do over the next X amount of months is going to be just like that vacation. You are going to have key memories. Your life will never be the same again because of the work that we're going to do. And instead of it just being a week, you look at pictures. This is your life going forward. You bring that vacation with you every day. And so for me, that framework has really helped me realize we are providing far more value than we ever charge.
So good. So good. Let's go with Heather. Thoughts? How do you add value in your mind without over delivering, overwhelming, etc.?
Well, and I think it's a lot of what Brian's saying. And I think one thing, and I think you were the one that first told me, Sean, was as far as like, it's a tendency to want to add more. Well, if I'm going to now increase my price from 3,000 to 5,000, what else do I give them? And the beauty is that you are saving them so much time. So for me, when I started and I have that, oh gosh, that can I charge that much? I'm going up another level. This is, and all that. Think about how much time you've invested to be able to have that knowledge to share with them. So you're shortcutting years off of their goals. And so to be able to do that, it kind of piggybacks off what Brian is saying too, right? You now looking at a 10-year span, what are you doing for them? You're not only helping them make $400,000, $4 million in 10 years, you're doing it a whole lot faster for them. So for me, that's something that has really helped when I'm like, do I? Yeah, because here's the value that I bring. And it doesn't mean that it has to be done in 12 weeks. I think you've given the example. Well, if you could have a problem solved in 2 weeks or 2 years, which would you want? Yep, I'll take cancer-free in 2 weeks over 2 years, or whatever problem it is, right? We're in the same boat. Like it's not about the time that we spend with them. It's about the value that we give, how we serve, and give them the results that they deserve and that we know that we can provide.
So good. So the other thing I'm going to share here is with adding the value. One exercise I like doing with clients, and we do this within Clients Purpose as well, is so you're offering health coaching as an example. When people feel really good about their body, about themselves, about the clothes they're wearing, about how they are seen in the world, how do they show up in their marriage? How does that impact their finances and how they show up at work? How does that impact how they show up in business? How does that impact the way they show up with their kids? How does that impact the pictures that they can take with their kids and the memories they can have? How does that impact their adventure? Are they going on more hikes? Are they going to doing more things outside? The one thing you're doing, one thing impacts everything. And so getting super clear about how what you do helps them everywhere else is super key. We help people getting visible with sales and with launches. Those are our three genius zones. Get visible, make sales, launch. When people know how to sell, I have had people teach their kids the sales process. Their kids go get their first job and ask for more money because they know what their value is in the interview, and then they get paid more. So not only am I helping them in their business, I'm also training them so they can train the next generation to ask for what they're worth. So there is a much more expanded way of viewing what you do. Instead of just what you do being one singular thing, how does what you do move forward? Maybe you're like, well, I help with copywriting. When somebody feels really confident about the language on their website, how often are they sharing their website? How do they show up differently at networking meetings? When they show up confidently at the networking meeting, when they go home to their partner, how do they show up to their partner? Right? Everything, no matter what it is, one thing impacts everything. Have you ever maybe it's like budgeting. Have you ever okay, I budgeted, I don't really want to budget, and then you finally do it, and then you're like, wow, that was really easy. And then you're like, I want to go work out now. Or maybe you clean your house, and after cleaning your house, you feel really good, and you're like, I want to accomplish something else now. Why? Because that momentum gets built. So super key in recognizing what you do isn't just what you do. You do all the other things, and creating a more comprehensive view of that, a more abundant view of that is super key. One more question is, somebody said my 18-year-old is making bank as an entrepreneur because he's watching me and he's making it even easier than I am. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, question. Can we get that gold jacket as a prize? That's a great question. You'll have to kind of talk to my wife about that because I love this jacket and she bought it for me as a gift. But I can tell you where I bought it. I think it was a platform called ASOS, ASOS.com. I think that's where I got it. But I'll share if that's not correct. Okay, final thoughts, final insights. Heather, what would you encourage someone right now who's watched this and is like, okay, I'm ready, I'm excited, I want to go make sales, I want to go get into conversations? What would you say to encourage them?
I think just get into conversations. What happened from what I was practicing and already making action and taking it and landing a new client, you just get to keep doing it. So it is good. It is exciting. Great things are on the other side of that conversation. If you do not have anyone to get in a conversation, message me. I will get in a conversation.
I love it. So good. And Brian?
I have just two pieces of advice or encouragement. It depends on where you're at. It's either get going or keep going. So maybe you've just been a fly on the wall observing this week. Maybe you're commenting a lot. Maybe you're finding this interesting, but we want to get out of shelf development where you just hold on to it, and we want to get you into action. So get going on this. Go back to the workbook, take action on day 1, day 2, day 3. And if you have been doing it, keep going. Each day builds on this. We just want to encourage you to keep going, because you're going to go far with that consistency. So get going or keep going.
So good. And just a reminder, you can join the Inner Circle right now by using that QR code. Brian's going to be on in about 20 minutes to hop on Zoom with you, grab water, go get something to eat, get a snack, go potty, and then get on the Zoom call, because Brian is going to dive deep on your money story, your sales process, your visibility process. It's going to be really powerful. So go ahead and take a photo of that QR code, or go to clientschallenge.com/inner circle, and you'll be able to join everybody else joining today. Somebody says, #yes, preach, Brian. So good. Somebody says, I would love to interview you, Heather. So good. Somebody says, yay, Heather, I would love to have you as well. So good. Yeah. So if you're having a hard time getting into conversations, Heather's a great person to do that. Somebody said #slow down and serve. Thank you so much for showing up for today's Inner Circle. We have had such a great time, and I am going to go ahead and give you this last piece of advice. Number 1, if you're feeling the energy, if you're feeling really excited, if you're like, yes, I want to go all in, go all in. Take the time right now to make a decision that you're going to do the work. On day 1, you said #I'm committed. You said #decide. This is where the rubber meets the road. You can either take this information and just collect it, or it can turn into action and execution, and you can go make a difference. I'm Sean Q. I've been your sales coach. Thank you for the honor of letting me coach you. We'll see you in the Inner Circle. Have a great day. Go take action.